Two things in particular I want to make sure we talked about. One is a call still today for great celebration, and that's our hand-in-hand program, which is actually the first way I found out about JPII. One of my friends, this is the parishioner of Christ the King, was telling me about this in school and what an extraordinary thing they were doing. I don't know who that Mr. Bishop, would you like to say?
I'll start. Carolyn needs to chime in. You know, the credit for Hand in Hand goes to, well, first of all, the school has had a lot of individuals who inspired the school to do things that probably wouldn't have not for their individual story or their individual vision. And Hand in Hand is another great example of that, where the Gavin family, Bill's here, Jean's here today, Molly, Bill's wife, really brought that need to the school, shared it with Hans, shared it with others.
It was
Carolyn
stronger
Baker.
than that. Molly Gavin basically, I don't
Wanted
know,
to be-
you didn't have any.
It was, you know, again, there are moments that of all the things we've talked about, I think it's the thing that I remember with the most perfect clarity. Molly Gavin was in my office. She said she had wanted a program like this for some time, that it didn't exist and she needed it. And I remember still what I said to her. And I don't think she meant to humble me, but she did. Because I said, well, Mrs. Gavin, this seems like a very, very good idea. It's just a very bad time for JPII right now. And I looked at her, and she said, no, it isn't. This is the right time. And she thereafter, I was completely convinced, really because of her. And then I'll be very candid about this, I had concerns about how people would respond to this idea, because the school was very young, and this was coming out of the blue, and it was going to happen because Molly Gavin said it was going to happen. I needed to get out of the way of the Holy Spirit. And I remember that night, I think, there was a parent volunteer meeting. We used to have parent volunteer meeting. And I guess I was very full of thinking about this, and I ran it by moms, and I wanted to know what their response was, that we were going to do this. They were just so positive. And I said, this is yet another example of something wonderful and miraculous. And when you then began to see how we found Adrienne, with the help of Gavin, the absolutely fantastic difference this has made to the school right away. The people we've met in other parts of the United States who are doing similar things now, and I think Adrienne's, we've been able to be part of something that has really affected Catholic education across the United States. And I do credit Molly Gavin, I have to say. And I'm sure she's very proud of Jeannie, proud of what we've done there.
I'll just
And then
add,
obviously there was at the board level, and you could talk about this a little bit, because just as I talked to the parents and found how positive they were, I mentioned it to the board, and it was almost like a dam opened up in terms of people talking about how much they wanted this thing.
that was probably my most memorable board meeting, was when that was brought up for a vote. Because of course people were concerned about the money, and thank God for the nice comments from the Gavins, and Molly and Bill. But we just were so passionate. And I think it was your speech that turned everybody around at that meeting. So,
Cat talk now. No, it's just, yeah, I mean, if you're going to be a school that professes what we profess, what our faith profess, as Molly put it to us, now is the right time. And you have very few opportunities to make such a big difference. And I think the difference that we saw the program make went well beyond the 3 or 4 students or the 5 that we may have now. And they were leaders in their own right, just like our first 2005 and 2006 classes. We had the pioneers in the hand-in-hand program who are some over here with us today. And like so many other things, it's that pebble in the water effect. That yes, it impacted them, but then it impacted the student body in a way, it impacted the families in a way, and now it's impacted the community in a way. And you just don't see many times the opportunity to see something like that. And it was really great to see the board come together and know that that was the right thing to do, and we would make it happen. But again, it all comes from the inspiration of someone who challenged us. And I think that's hopefully the legacy of the school, is that when those opportunities come, we seize those moments and we see them through.
My timing was not good, as Adrienne just stepped out, but, or she's still, there you are.
There she is.
Adrienne, would you like to share anything about Hand in Hand or the Peer Buddies?
I think when mine said he was young, I would add, I was like naive, I didn't know what I was doing, and that's a good thing. We're going to a meeting with someone else who works in disabilities, and I told her about this new school and this program, and that sounds crazy. I'm not even sure how that would happen, but I'm glad that I met with Hans and others, and I was convinced that this was the right thing for me and the right thing for these guys, and we're really excited that we're able to continue. We have a great group of kids right now in our program, and really proud of our alumni for going forward and being part of awesome programs that are in our community, and they're forging their futures, and it's doing really well. Would you agree, Jeannie? Yes.
And that they have students that are in other aspects of the school that have needs that Adrienne also works with. One of them was my son, quite bright, capable, very scattered, had his own agenda. I don't know if y'all know anybody like that, but anyway. But it was amazing how the school came together and supported him and me, and helped him see his way to graduation and on to a wonderful college with scholarships and everything. And so not every school has that flexibility, that vision, and that's part of the Christian ethic that's around here and the culture. And I think he's going to do quite well, and he loves the school, and I appreciate that. I got to be on the receiving end.